Who's the greatest in the Great White North? Canada's top athletes vie for a trip to the Games. Pat Vellner looks to lead the way for the men, while veterans hope to be victorious for the women. We preview the Atlas Games next on Game Central. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Game Central. Sean Woodland and Annie Sakamoto here, going through all of these semifinal events that will be taking place in the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games season. Today we are focusing on the Atlas Games, and this is one that, if people remember, really started off the just slew of cancellations that we had in 2020.
Right, Sean, this was an event that was ready to go, and then, due to COVID, at the last second, I think athletes were even on site at this event, they had to cancel it. So it's definitely an event that we have been anticipating and really want to see, and unfortunately it is virtual, but this is an event that will be great when it does run live.
Yeah, it is a virtual event, one of the 5 virtual semifinal events. The dates will be June 18th through the 20th. 5 spots for the men, women, and teams on the line for the CrossFit Games, and then 3 spots in the last chance online qualifier. And you mentioned wanting to see this in person. It's been a while since we have seen an in-person competition in that area of the world.
Right, it's been since the Canada East Regionals. So again, this is long anticipated, but I have no doubt that when, not if, this event does have a chance to run, it's going to be one of the best ones.
Let's go with the women's side first. A ton of veterans there in that field competing virtually, but who do you like to take those top 5 spots?
Number 1, I'm going to go with Caroline Prévost. Okay. Number 2, we have to talk about Caroline Reason-Thibault, multi-games athlete. Chloe Gauvin-David as well. Emma Rolfe and Mackenzie Riley, I think all stand a great chance for the top 5.
Caroline Prévost is a name that people are very familiar with. I'm a talented athlete, but why do you like her to be the top woman out of this semifinal?
Well, Sean, this is an athlete that notoriously did really well in the Open, and then for years didn't end up qualifying, and it was kind of puzzling. She ends up qualifying in 2019 and just misses the final cut in 12th place. And this is an athlete that also played professional hockey up in Canada, so we've always associated her with a high tolerance for pain, and I think that she's really coming into her own. She was kind of more of an open athlete for years, and I think now she's shown that whether it's live or kind of next level competition, she's ready.
Who is someone who is knocking on the door to getting into those top 5 spots, but also might get a spot to the last chance online qualifier?
So I've got my eyes on 18-year-old Annika Greer, and she is out of Charlottetown, Canada. She was the 2020 fittest teen in Canada, and then she ended up qualifying for the Games in 2nd place in the age group online qualifier, but obviously couldn't compete due to COVID. She's an athlete that's been running 45 plus kilometers a week to build up her aerobic capacity, and she has said that she feels like there's no real holes in her fitness, so I think going into an event like this, it bodes well for her.
As far as a dark horse is concerned, Alexis Dutois is an intriguing name. She's an athlete who seems to have been on the ascent recently. Why do you think she could make some noise?
Well, number 1, she's a Bay Area girl, so I love that you brought her up. We got to root for the hometown crowd. She did get 44th in the quarterfinals, but she's also a 3-time regionals athlete on a team, twice for Endgame and once for CSA. So we know she's used to competing at this level. She finished 9th in the Filthy 50 last year, or in 2019, and 11th in the Mayhem Classic. Here's what I love about her too. It's her work ethic. I've heard that she gets up at 3:15 every morning so that she has time to coach, work, and train. And I think that, we put so much emphasis on talent and not enough emphasis on discipline and work ethic, and that's what she's got.
Now let's go over to the men's side. Another loaded field here. Who takes the top 5 spots for them?
Hard not to say Patrick Vellner right off the bat, right? And then, of course, Jeffrey Adler, Brent Fikowski, Alexander Caron, and Samuel Cornier, I think, are our top 5 gents out of this area.
Yeah, and you said it was not tough to pick Pat Vellner. Why do you think this now is the bounce back year for him after kind of a disappointing performance at the Games last season?
Right, first of all, he's a 3-time podium athlete, and I think for years when the conversation came up about who could beat Matt Fraser, he was definitely the top of the list as far as the names went. Yes, he's had some unfortunate events. He just missed qualifying last year out of stage 2. He was 9th place, and he missed the final cut in 2019. But again, I think when we're talking about a well-rounded athlete that not only stands a chance to qualify, but really stands a chance to be competitive as far as being on the podium this year, you cannot overlook Pat Vellner.
Yeah, dealing with that groin injury last year too during the Games, and still almost got to stage number 2. Now, as far as someone who might push those top 5, might find himself inside the top 5 at the end of the weekend. Who could that be?
I would have to say Alex Vigneault. And this is an athlete that really caught our eye in 2016 when he finished in 19th place. And then unfortunately 2017, he suffered a pec injury, couldn't make it out of regionals. He did compete again at the games in 2019 where he placed 25th. But again, we're talking about a 3-time games athlete. And so while we haven't seen or heard much from Alex Vigneault, he definitely has the capacity to be there.
Who's the dark horse on the men's side?
CrossFit Thor. Griffin Raleigh, right? And this is a gentleman who really caught our eye last year in stage 1 of the 2020 games with that 490-pound front squat. And you know, he is on the bigger side as far as CrossFit athletes go, but he does well enough at these gymnastics events, and we can bet that if there is any kind of maximal strength test at the semifinals event, that he will win it or at least come top 3. And he's just such a fun athlete to watch.
All right, let's go to the team side of things where there are a lot of unknowns here. We're still learning about a lot of these teams, but who do you like in the top 5?
All right, so Sean, I'm going to start with CrossFit Resurrection, and then obviously really hard not to overlook Pro 1 Montreal, and then 1855, Team Coda, and Nova Teen Lab would be my top 5 picks.
A lot of people might be surprised that you have Resurrection above Pro 1 Montreal just because of the known factor that the athletes on Pro 1 has, but why is CrossFit Resurrection, you think, the top team here?
Well, they got 4th place in the quarterfinals, and all of their finishes in the quarterfinals were 33rd or better. And not only that, they also finished 25th worldwide in the Open this year. So I think this team out of Ontario, Canada, stands a really good chance to be one of the top teams qualifying.
All right, who's a team now in the hunt for a spot in the top 5?
I'm going to go with Rhapsody,
Okay.
and they are out of Charlestown, South Carolina. They were 27th in the quarterfinals, but they got 12th on test 1, which really caught my eye. And so again, we don't know much about this team, but always fun to see a new team on the scene.
Yeah, I've said this to Tommy before as far as the teams are concerned, but throw a dart and pick a dark horse, but who do you like as the dark horse for the teams?
So I'm going to go with C2X CrossFit, and they're from XL Fitness in Salt Lake City, Utah. And here's what I like: they did finish 49th in the quarterfinals, but they have Jeff Patzer on their team, and this is a 2-time games athlete, once as an individual in 2017 and once on the team in 2016 for CrossFit Davis. So again, I think experience, especially games experience, plays a lot into how a team can do.
Yeah, Atlas Games, unfortunately not in person. They are one of the 5 virtual events, June 18th through the 20th. 5 tickets to the CrossFit Games up for grabs for the men, the women, and the teams. That is going to do it for this edition of Game Central. For Annie Sakamoto, I'm Sean Woodland. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we will talk to you next time.